Hey everybody, welcome to Trading Capital's exclusive analysis. Today's video, we're discussing three stocks in particularly, and they're all high-flying names, very speculative investments. Often they can squeeze. The first one on my list, which I like the most, is TUP, Tupperware Brands. Tupperware Brands has been actually demolished over the last couple of years. Reason being they've had a lot of issues with management, turning over management, potential accounting issues, and also potentially being delisted from the New York Stock Exchange. But they've actually been granted another year in terms of being able to get their financing sorted, and their financiers are actually coming to defend them. So Tupperware Brands, technically speaking, is still oversold in comparison to where its valuation, in my opinion, should be over the next couple of years. It's still an American household name brand that people like to use, but Tupperware Brands had a beautiful technical breakout today. And what does this mean? This likely means there's further upside. TUP, inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder here, head, right shoulder. It broke out of this neckline today on a nice 11.67 million. A very quiet breakout, but it was up 25%, and my members were able to capture that. Full disclosure, my members and myself were long at $2, and we actually trimmed a little bit of profits here today for an 18% rally. Now, the big thing is TUP has triggered this pattern, so the upside, technically speaking, could push us all the way up to 370 just off of this mini daily chart pattern. Now, the big thing is that these short interest, high short interest microcap names can have a lot of beta on the upside, but they can also fall to the downside pretty quickly. So you just have to use position management and size accordingly. But this one I am liking on the long side for a continuation move higher. And let's just say that this daily chart gets up to this 370 target. If you were to get up there, then you could arguably say you have a larger inverse head and shoulders on the weekly chart, big left shoulder, a nice big rounding head, and then you have a big right shoulder forming. If you break this neckline, I mean, you have a potential move in TUP, all the way back up to say $12 on the chart. So just keep this one on watch because it has been quietly seeing accumulation over the last 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks straight, and it finally got the breakout today. So definitely a name that we profit on with our members, and definitely one that I like as a continuation. AAOI is another interesting high flying short squeeze candidate. This one has a 25% short interest in its name. AAOI has actually been breaking out of a range. It's putting in a nice bullish flag pattern here on the daily chart, and it's looking for a continuation move higher. Now, what's with AAOI? Well, AAOI has a 25% short interest. So obviously, fundamentally speaking, many investors aren't believing in this company. But when you have a short interest of that magnitude and the stock is actually pushing up, pulling back, pushing up some more, making higher highs and higher lows, that makes shorts nervous. This is kind of the highest monthly close that AAOI is going to be setting since really your big decline in 2018. So just take that into account. Imagine you as an institution or some of those market participants who have a 25% short base in this name are now seeing this name break out of a monthly flag pattern and getting a new monthly high close. What does that do for you as an institution? It likely means you're probably going to cover some shares and slowly start to reduce the risk. As you cover, this name continues to squeeze. And believe it or not, if we start getting a short covering, we haven't really seen a short covering rally in this name yet. But you'll recognize it. The volume will start to increase substantially because you have the volume covering, and then you have additional buyers, momentum traders chasing the short covering rally. So you'll see volume start to uptick, but this one could squeeze all the way up to $50 on the charts. And you can see that's your next big monthly chart resistance, these pivots. But right now, we're challenging this wide range red bar. There's not much resistance in here on the monthly basis. We had a hard fall down. So, who's to say we can't have a hard rally up just with the way the market is squeezing? So it's another one I am watching for the long side. Again, super, super risky to play, but definitely one that can be up, 10, 15% on any single given trading session if we get that short covering rally. Today it was up over 9% on the session, and the volume really hasn't even started to uptick off of this area here. You are seeing a nice lowering volume consolidation on the daily chart, so that is showing a little bit of more bullish continuation. Let me just see if I can pull up the other stock here. The other name was on my list. Forgive me. Oh, yes. IONQ. IONQ. This one's interesting. Very, very interesting. Another name with extremely high short interest. First things first, what I'm observing here is IONQ has actually been forming a little bit of higher lows. So here's your low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher. It has not technically made a higher high yet. Once you break out this, that's when the real squeeze can happen. If it clears 1660, that's when the real squeeze in this name happens. But you can arguably say you've triggered two potentially bullish patterns. Here you have a left shoulder, you have a nice head, and you have a right shoulder development. You've broken the first neckline, which that target really takes you to 1985. If you break the second neckline, which is actually my favorite neckline to use, that means this stock can squeeze past this previous high. So again, this is a very, very high name, or a high short interest name. It is putting in some very, very strong potential to move higher. I'm liking the fact that the pullback is inside of this nice 3-bar surge, and you're retesting this neckline. This stock, if it holds this area over here, this $13 level, this stock should squeeze minimum up to $16, and then likely even all the way up to 1982. So just play it accordingly. These names are super, super risky, but you've triggered one break of the neckline already, and now you're retesting here today. You could see a little bit more choppiness along this area, but this one is looking poised to continue higher. And simply, if you were to use a stop loss below this 1228 area, that is pretty much your risk to the downside. You use that as your stop loss, and then you hopefully let this run and let it squeeze. Nothing here is financial advice. I do not hold a position in the last two tickers. I do hold a position in the first ticker I mentioned, but I am looking to potentially play all three of the names on momentum day trades. On that note, please give this video a like down below if you found it useful, and please definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. Take care, everybody. Happy holidays, and we'll see you on the charts a bit later.